folks, I know that we were all hoping that this wouldn't happen, but unfortunately, it looks like it's happening. The U.S. military is getting prepared to potentially deploy up to 2,000 troops to Israel. But don't worry, folks. They're claiming that they're sending our soldiers over there just to help out and show support. They're claiming that these soldiers won't be involved in combat. You know, I used to look at countries like North Korea and places like that, and I would wonder, how are these people so easily indoctrinated and brainwashed? Why do these people believe what their leaders say when it's so obviously hogwash? Why do these people go along with all of this nonsense that's going on and they just buy into or believe whatever their leaders tell them? But then I look at what's happening in America right now, and there's not that big of a difference, if you want me to be completely honest. Right now, America is sending battleships and soldiers into the middle of a war while telling the people of America that we're not getting involved in the war. Oh, a war pops off in Israel? Send in the battleships. Send in the soldiers. Oh, but hey guys, don't worry. We're not getting involved in this war. We're just sending our battleships and our troops for no reason. And people believe this. People will look at me like I'm crazy for reporting on the troop and military movements that are going on currently as this war is taking place between Israel and their various enemies. People will look at you like you're lying when the proof is in the pudding. America is sending battleships, dozens of ships, thousands of soldiers now. They've already sent dozens upon dozens of fighter jets into the middle of a war, but we're supposed to believe that America isn't getting involved just because our president or certain elected officials and politicians will tell us, oh, we're not getting involved. And it literally frustrates me to death because I know these people can basically get away with anything. This is the equivalent of someone standing in front of you, smacking you as hard as they can in the face. You look at them like, why did you just smack me? And they say, hey, I didn't smack you. And then you believe them. That's what's happening here. But now it looks like 2,000 troops are going to be sent to Israel, but they're claiming, oh, we're just sending our young men and women over there to train the Israelis on how to fight. I don't know about you all, but I am sick and tired of this. Every single war that pops off in the world, oh, America, we got to send our kids over there to train those people. Every single freaking war in my lifetime. It doesn't have to have anything to do with us at all, but America's going to send our kids over there to train people. How does that make sense? Think about it. Most young people in America live privileged lives in comparison to these people over in the Middle East. So we're going to send young men and women, some of which aren't even old enough to buy alcohol yet. We're going to send them with no fighting, no combat experience at all. We're sending them to Israel to train people who have literally been fighting their entire lives. Once you start questioning things, you can poke holes all into their narratives. None of it makes sense. Oh, we got to send 19-year-old Tom from Wisconsin, who's never even been in a fist fight. We need to send him to the Middle East to train some people on how to fight. Meanwhile, those people have been fighting since they were children. strapping explosives to themselves, blowing people to smithereens, but we need to train them on how to fight a freaking war. That doesn't make sense. I'm tired of it. It happened in Ukraine. It happened in Iraq, Afghanistan, now Israel, everywhere in the world. Oh, you're about to get involved in a war? Let's send some 19-year-olds to your country to teach you how to fight, even though our kids have never had to fight a day in their lives. Meanwhile, y'all have been over here acting like ravaged animals, killing each other for freaking decades. But our kids, who had a bright future ahead of them, need to go train your freaking soldiers. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Whew. It's so frustrating to me. But this is concerning, obviously, because we're sending troops over there, it looks like now. But it's also concerning because yesterday was a relatively good day. Now, don't get me wrong. People are still dying. Bombs are still dropping. The war is still raging. But yesterday was the best day that we had. Because yesterday, there were talks, and it looked like Israel was going to restore power to parts of Gaza. It looked like Egypt was going to allow people from Gaza to come into their country and seek refuge. It looked like we were going to allow some humanitarian aid into Gaza to help the people who were just being bombed daily. Iran actually backed down yesterday. Iran has been out here threatening to get involved in the war, claiming that if Israel didn't stop, that it was going to get involved. But now yesterday, Iran backed down, I guess because of all the U.S. warships headed to the area. They said, you know what? If Iran is not attacked, we're not going to get involved. So they backed down. So as all of these kind of good things were happening yesterday, it's alarming to me today that America wants to announce that we're sending troops. So this is just going to add fuel to the fire. If we thought things were going to get better for a moment, now it doesn't look like things are going to get better. But as Iran is claiming that they're backing down, Israel is claiming that Iran is really still fighting in this war via proxies. They're using terrorist groups, little militias, to fight this battle on their behalf. They don't want to get officially involved, but they have groups to do their bidding. So Iran's claiming they're backing down, but in reality, they still have their hand in this situation. And Israel's like, nah, you're not backing down. You're still involved. Screw you guys, basically. So the hopes that we had yesterday, I felt like there was this little window of a possibility of peace. Things were going kind of good. But now, not so much. Now, as I reported to you all before, Israel started bombing Syria the other day. They bombed multiple targets in Syria. They bombed multiple airports. Syria has been working kind of close with Russia. So now Russia has dropped off a lot of new military equipment to Syria so they can, I guess, be better prepared to fight Israel. But at the same time, Russia's been calling for peace. And honestly, right now, the situation is very, very confusing. Because everyone is saying one thing and they're doing another, including America. America's saying, hey, we're not getting involved, but we're sending ships. And now it looks like we're going to send troops on the ground into Israel. Iran's like, hey, as long as we're not attacked, we're not going to get involved. Meanwhile, they're sending weapons and funding, these various groups that are waging war against Israel. They're even having meetings with the leaders of these terrorist groups. Israel, who knows what's going on there? We already thought the ground invasion was going to start. Then it started flooding in Israel. The ground invasion has been delayed a little bit. And right now it's a very confusing time because no one knows what to expect. But everyone is kind of expecting the worst because it looks like everyone's preparing for the worst. But as everyone's preparing for the worst and they're making all of these military moves, you know, their diplomats or their politicians are all talking the good talk while not walking the same walk. So with that being said, I'm going to continue monitoring the situation. If anything big happens, you already know I will be the first to let you know. But for now, I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you're feeling generous, drop a super thanks. Make sure you follow me on Twitter because I post updates over there as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.